Hello again guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we'll be carrying out the first part in a new series here on Into the Blue Simulations. And if the title wasn't a dead giveaway already, this will be part 1 of our Mach Loop Time Trial series. The aim of this series, much like the Microsoft Flight Simulator landing challenges, is just to break things up a little bit on the channel and allow us to have some fun during the middle of the week. So in the near term we'll probably aim to alternate week by week between the Microsoft Flight Simulator landing challenges and the Mach Loop time trials. Throughout this series we'll be taking iconic aircraft, both new and old, for a run around the Mach Loop, pitting our various aircraft against one another to see which can complete the Mach Loop in the quickest time. In each video we'll first briefly outline the aircraft's history, performance and general characteristics. We'll then carry out our Mach Loop run from the cockpit in the first person view, and thereafter we'll watch a cinematic replay of our attempt. As I mentioned, the overall point of this series is for it to be a time trial series, so at the end of each run we'll note down our time and we'll put the score up on the aircraft leaderboard. As I say, the main aim of this series is really just to have a little bit of fun. However, for the sake of consistency, I have come up with a few simple rules which we'll follow throughout each run. We'll briefly discuss those now and then we'll begin our attempt. So rule number 1, quite an obvious one really, but the routing will be the same throughout each episode of the series. We'll carry out one anti-clockwise run around the Mach Loop, starting and finishing in Mach Loop. Rule number 2, the vertical limits for the run. We'll aim not to go above hilltop level throughout our run. If we do have any significant departures from this, then we'll deem the run null and void. Rule number 3, for each run we'll use the real world weather conditions. This might seem a little unfair, as obviously certain weather conditions will favour one run over another. However, of course with any type of real world speed record attempt, meteorological conditions are something that you simply just have to work around. Rule number 4, the aircraft will be set up in what I deem to be its standard loadout. This will either be based on real world information about the aircraft's particular loadout, or may simply come down to which options are configurable within the sim. Rule number 5 governs afterburner use on aircraft that are equipped with afterburners. To allow acceleration to come into play as well as top speed of the aircraft, we're going to say that we can only engage our afterburners once for a beam Mach Loop. Again, this should help to keep the runs nice and consistent as well. Rule number 6 regarding the aircraft's limits. We will have the sim options configured such that aircraft stress does cause damage, so we'll aim to operate the aircraft at least broadly within its limits. The same will go for the pilot. We'll have the G effect turned on, so if at any point during the run we black out, then again the run will be deemed null and void. Finally, rule number 8. Once again, the aim of this series is to have fun, so we're not going to take the application of the aforementioned rules too seriously, and likewise the times on our leaderboard will be purely for reference. It's not to say that the aircraft couldn't have done it faster, or that one aircraft is better than another. Anyway, with all that out of the way, the last thing for me to say is that, as always, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and indeed the series. If you do, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or questions for me, please leave them down in the comments section below. But now let's take a look at our first aircraft in the series and begin our run around the Mach Loop. So the aircraft we'll be taking around the Mach Loop today is the Panavia Tornado. More specifically, it will be the Tornado GR1, and the version we're using in P3D today is made by Skunk Works. The Panavia Tornado is a twin-engine, variable sweep, multi-role combat aircraft. It was jointly developed and manufactured by Italy, the United Kingdom and Germany, and it first flew on the 14th of August 1974. The aircraft is powered by two Turbo Union RB199 afterburning engines, giving the aircraft a maximum speed of around Mach 2.2. The Tornado is designed to excel at low-level penetration of enemy air defences, so it's very much designed for the type of flying that we'll be doing today in the Mach Loop. Sadly, the Tornado, affectionately known as the Tonka, has now been retired from RAF service, but indeed back in the day it was a common visitor to the Mach Loop, and to my mind it's one of the most beautiful British military aircraft operated in modern times. Anyway, we'll now head to the cockpit of the GR1 and begin our run. So just tracking the river Duffy in towards Mach Loop. As you can see, it's a pretty turbulent day here on the Mach Loop. The aircraft really getting buffeted around. Especially with the wings swept back, it's actually quite a handful. And just passing beam Mach Loop now, over the road, start the clock and engage the afterburners. Following the river initially down the valley. And just passing over the P3D V5 bridge. Starting on left turn now to follow the A470. Overbanking the aircraft just to get us back down towards ground level. And again, really having to fight the controls here. So we'll come as far out to the right as we can for our turn over Dinas Malthui. There's the town just below us, overbanking the aircraft again to bring us back down towards ground level. You can see we pulled around 6G in the turn there. And continuing to pull around 4 to 5 Gs, almost blacking out, easing off on the turn. Reversing the turn back round to the right. Passing through Bulich. Continuing to follow the A470 over the Cross Foxes Inn. And again up to around 4 to 5 Gs through the left turn. Just holding on to the edge of blacking out. Overbanking to bring the aircraft back down to ground level. And reversing the turn back round to the right. Off the afterburner. Back on the afterburner. And again, back up, using some speed brake to get the aircraft slowed down for our next left turn. Really need to reduce the speed there, we're up to around 6 Gs now, and as you can see coming through Corris Corner, again we're nearly blacking out. I don't think we would be able to take that turn at full speed. Once again continuing to follow the valley, around towards Corris. There's Corris just passing below us now. And reversing the turn back towards the left to exit the valley. Just passing a beam Mach Loop now, off the afterburners, stop the watch, and that's the end of the run. Overall not a bad run, definitely some room for improvement in a couple of turns there, and again the environmental conditions not making life very easy for us. Let's now view the run again from outside of the aircraft. So there you go guys, that completes our run around the Mach Loop in the Panavia Tornado GR1. The aircraft managed a time of 2 minutes 21.66 seconds, which, surprise surprise, puts it at the top of our leaderboard. Although it does take the number 1 spot by default currently, I do think that time will take some beating, as this type of flying is very much what the Tornado GR1 is designed for. The only thing that did hamper our run a little bit on this occasion is the atmospheric conditions. It was quite turbulent today, and particularly with the aircraft's wings swept back, it was a real handful to fly. I suspect under more benign conditions we could have got a better time out of the aircraft. But for now it's a 2 minutes 26.66 and number 1 on the leaderboard. Anyway guys, as always I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or questions for me, or indeed if there's any particular aircraft that you'd like to see run the Mach Loop, then let me know down in the comments section below. But for now, thanks very much, and I'll see you all again soon.